Welcome back to Briggs on Books, our international talk show where we talk to authors from all over the world. And we've talked to authors today from England, Istanbul, Canada, all over the world so far. And if you're getting ready to pick your next book, or if you're ready to help your kids pick the next book, check this one out. Joey Kelly and the Astonishing Discovery of Veiled Lake. It's going to be an exciting book. By the way, not only do I have the book here, but I have the author here. Let me see if I can find him. There he is. Robert Rovegno. Welcome, Robert.
Hey, I'm glad to be here and glad to be able to talk a little bit about the book.
Yeah. Now, we were talking before the show started. You know, it's written for 9 to 12 or whatever, but older kids like it. Even adults are liking the book.
Yeah, if I have the feeling that if they decided to do a extended Indiana Jones series and wanted to start off on a reboot, then this might have been the book that they start with, because it starts out with 4 teen archaeologists. The youngest is 15 and a half and the oldest is 16 and a half. And they do pretty much everything that Indiana Jones does, except maybe a little bit better, and certainly more relatable to young children. Yeah. So they go on incredible adventures. They save individuals during the book. They come back alive. And I've already started on the sequel when they return to this fantastic hidden lake that they discovered. And the good thing about the book is, if you have a son or a daughter that like archaeology, and this would be a book that gives them a little bit more information about archaeology. It teaches them some of the things you have to do to be a good archaeologist. It describes how you do a dig site, but all in a fun way. It's just like the mythology part. Yeah. You know, one of the things I tried to do was make it educational and funny. I mean, that was my goal. Basically, I have 9 grandchildren. Yeah. I started to write this book when my first granddaughter was about 7 years old. She's 18 years old now. And so I started to write it, and some of the names of the characters are the same as my grandkids. The personalities are certainly not the same. They're kind of mixed up, but there are personalities of the grandkids in there. And it wound up being a fun book, but I wound up ending it on a chapter about Cyclops. Well, then a couple more grandkids, I had to write a little bit more, and then a couple more grandkids, I had to write a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And then in having people read the book or reading it to the kids, people were saying, this is really good, this is really good. And I said, well, you know what? Maybe I'll try and expand it. I'll expand it to a book for young readers. Mm. So from the chapter which ended with the Cyclops, I had to figure out how to add another 27,000 words to the book, and I think it came out really, really well. Yeah. And actually, it clears up a lot of things that have been totally wrong through the history of movies. Mm-hmm. I'm sure most viewers, and you know, the Titan movies, Clash of the Titans, yeah. And you always have Zeus walking down to the water. He puts his staff up above his head and he says, "Release the Kraken." Well, right in the middle of the book, there's a little funny section because there's a Greek movie being made, and there's a no-name actor coming down dressed as Zeus, and he is supposed to come to the water's edge, raise up his arms, and say, "Release the Kraken." Yeah. Well, at the moment he does that, there's an underwater earthquake, and that earthquake releases a hideous sea monster. And so Joey Kelly and the others have been to Veiled Lake once. They see the action because they're filming a movie. Mm-hmm. So when this creature comes up out of the water, the cameras are rolling, the sound booms are out, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, the Kraken, the Kraken." So there's a little funny thing where they're talking about it and says, well, can't believe that CNN News, the Greeks, and even the U.S. Navy who engaged this creature and it escapes from the Navy. Yeah. Actually, it kind of beats the Navy. But it's like, I can't believe they got it all wrong. And they're like, well, what do you mean got it all wrong? And it's like, well, would Zeus ever go down to the water's edge and say, "Release the Kraken"? No, because the Kraken was a Nordic sea monster that was first mentioned like around 1280 AD, and Cetus was the Greek sea monster. So what Zeus should say is, "Release the Cetus." So, I mean, it's funny because it's a dialogue, but it has all the characters that kids love.
Yeah.
and all the monsters that kids love. And other than the Kraken, aka Cetus, none of the monsters die. If you read the cover of the book, you read a little bit out, it has Medusa in it. Well, Medusa winds up being the snake monster, but by the end of the book, she is now the young princess that she used to be, and she's ready to be a living encyclopedia, and she goes on to Kids with Other Adventures. Yeah. So I just tried to make it, I certainly tried to make it fun. And I was getting a little tired of all the superheroes that they have now, which have nothing in common with children. On LinkedIn a few months ago, I think it was one of the executives from Scholastic Books said, kids read more, engage the story, and understand it better if the characters are characters that they can relate to. And I guarantee any reader out there with children from 9 to 16, 18, and if you're adult, you like it, if you read the book, these kids are superheroes, but they're only superheroes because they're smart, they're friendly, they use teamwork, they're self-reliant, they have a little bit of luck, honestly, but who doesn't? I mean, Indiana Jones would be dead about 50 times over if he didn't have some luck. So these kids are kids that parents of most of the readers would say, these kids are just like my kids.
Yeah,
it's
great.
2 boys, it's 2 girls, they're best friends. And that's basically how the book starts, that's how the book ends, and then that's how the next series starts. They're relaxing in Holden Beach in North Carolina, waiting to go on the next adventure.
That's great. You think it might inspire some kids to be archaeologists?
I actually hope so.
Yeah.
There's a section in there where they're making repairs because this boat that they're using has taken a beating down there, and they discover the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, which have been, it's one of the 10 wonders of the world, but nobody's ever found the remains. Well, the remains wind up being down at this veiled lake that the kids are exploring. And I go into datums, which is one of the points where you have a center point in digging and sifting for archaeological debris, dating by the bricks and how the bricks are done. But again, it's definitely not an educational book. It is in that it's a fun to read book, and the kids hopefully will remember a lot. But it's not like I'm giving a lesson in archaeology. Yeah. It's just, ooh, that sounds like fun. I would love to find that. And all the kids in the book have certain things in certain places that they want to find and then do an archaeological dig. And the Hanging Gardens of Babylon would be one of those sites. Wow. So yeah, I hope that I inspire some children to take up archaeology as a career. In an extended bio I'm doing on the kids, we find out that the parents are either archaeologists or anthropologists. And so they all have an interest in it, but they all wind up picking the better of the two, which is the archaeology.
Yeah, that's, I call these possibility books sometimes because kids see, oh, it's possible for me to do that. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Easy with the right training.
Yeah.
My grandson, I did a LinkedIn post not too long ago. There's all over the country, there's archaeological camps. There's one here in New Jersey. Nice. They actually bury things, and then a skilled archaeologist comes and shows the kids how to dig, how to sift, how to carefully remove artifacts without damaging them. So from here to California and from Texas to Canada, I'm sure most people have access to an archaeological camp that the kids can do in the summer. And my grandson, Gabriel, who's one of the archaeologists in the book, he's done it several times and loves it.
Yeah, that's fun. We've gone way past time, but you're so fascinated and you're so passionate about your story and these ideas. I want to say that my kids are older than that now. They're in their 30s. But, man, when they're that age, I wish we had books like that. And what I would have done, which I'm suggesting to our viewers to do, is don't go to Amazon or wherever you buy your books. Don't just buy one. Buy 10 of these things, because your kids at that age, they go to birthday parties every other week. And it's good to have a stack of books like that to give out, as the birthday gift. Christmas is coming up. Have a stack ready for Christmas. And so don't buy one. That's what I always tell our viewers.
Well,
Robert,
Yeah, I guarantee the kids will not want to put it down.
yeah, and get the kids talking with each other about it because they're all are reading the same book. That's fun too. We're past time, Robert. Robert Rovegno, any last thoughts for our viewers about the books or about anything in the world you want to talk about?
Yeah, no, basically, yeah, just I have freebies on the website.
Okay.
So anybody out there that's interested, if you're not going to read the book right now, maybe your son or daughter is a little bit young, but it's something that you'd like to see, or you have an older child, on my website. I know I sent some pictures. My daughter has done the artwork. She's a art teacher. She did the Kraken, she did the Cetus, she did the Hydra. She did a fantastic scene where Blackbeard is being attacked by Medusa. So she supplied the artwork, and there's downloadable posters on the website.
Yeah.
There's fantastic walkthroughs of worldwide museums. The one Greek museum isn't a museum that would make Indiana Jones jealous if he could get into that museum. So like I said, there's plenty of free things for the kids to do. And hopefully if they get in there and like the site, they would buy a book. But I just tried to make it as entertaining as possible, both the book and the website.
Very good. And we do have the web address on the screen, Robert Rovegno, author.com. It's not that hard. I was worried about the name, Rovegno, robertrovegno.com. And
you got it.
Thank you, Robert. By the way, this is the first book of how many, do you think?
Oh, what was that?
How many books do you think will be in the series?
I started on the second one, and I actually have 5 early readers, which I'm working on publishing now. Mini action adventure books, Frankie the Frog, and 2 motivational books, and 3 fairy tale books. So those will be coming out soon, and then I'll be contacting you again to be on your show.
Nice, nice. Well, the Joe Kelly series sounds like it's a lot of fun to write.
It was definitely a lot of fun to write. With 7 grandkids live in the house with us, so writing is fits and starts. Whenever I have a free moment, I'm writing. When we go to the beach, I go with my wife for 48 years. We go to the beach. Then I write like crazy, and I try and get as much done before I come up here, because then things slow down a bit.
Yeah, I bet. Thank you, Robert. I'm inspired by you. And
Thank you.
I hope you'll come again and again. Don't wait till you write another book. I want to have you back on the show anytime you like.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you so much.
And for our viewers, don't go anywhere, because we're going to be back with another author right after this. Thanks, Robert.
Thank you.